You end up getting a promotion with ESPN. You get more responsibilities. You are successful in that position. You're everywhere. NBA Finals. Did you do the NCAA, the college football championship?
Man, Deshaun Watson, when he threw the game-winning touchdown pass to Hunter Renfrow against
Renfro.
Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there for that.
Yeah. So your responsibility grew in the company, but something else also grew. Something grew inside of you that put you in a position where you said, maybe I can do something else. What happened during your
Yep.
run at ESPN that put you in a place to say, maybe I should try something different?
Yeah. So for me, it was not a maybe. For me, it was when. And I knew, Rob, I knew that I wanted to get back to being independent. Like I knew that for me, ESPN was not a destination. It was a platform, and it was the best platform ever for me.
Hmm.
But I knew that I had aspirations to, do my own thing. Like I enjoyed what I was doing before I was at ESPN, doing the Harrison stuff, and I was independent. It was, I had no idea what I was doing. Like, it was a year. I was working out of my apartment, and now it's funny. I'm still working out of my apartment, but I'm a lot more mature as a business owner, I'll say.
Okay.
But look, for me, I got to a point, Rob, where I felt that I was at ESPN 6 years or 6 plus, whatever it was. I built a ton of great relationships, both internally and externally. I felt like at ESPN I had accomplished what I wanted to accomplish. And I got a lot of exposure there, so I was fortunate. But like whether it was working on the biggest brands, working with people, meeting producers, meeting the talent, working at events, like I was like, I've done it, and I've done it in a way that I've really enjoyed it. And I got to a point where there was more and more external conversations I was having where people wanted help, and I'm like, I'm gonna try. Like I felt like pandemic was the best time to do it because
Yeah.
digital was blowing up. Um, you know, Expenses were lower than they traditionally are because wasn't leaving the apartment, wasn't going to
You
work.
don't have to
Like,
go. You don't have to go into the office. You can just take care of business right there from your bed. For some people, I wouldn't
yeah,
encourage that, by the way.
yeah, no, it's good to have a desk, but no, I was cooking more. Like I just there was just I felt and I it was getting to a point where I was like, I knew I could continue to intersect with ESPN. I knew that I have relationships with some of these talent, and I felt like if I left, I could continue to help them in a way that I couldn't necessarily extend myself at ESPN, or I could continue doing it just not there.
Yeah.
And that was it. And that was the next opportunity. And I was like, look, I was staying up late at night, like just like in bed, just like, well, I need to do this. I need to do this. And like, I didn't tell anyone I was doing it. And when I say I didn't tell anyone, I mean like zero people, like nobody knew.
Hmm.
And I was dealing with that internally, which was challenging. But because when and something's in your gut, like, like if someone's, if you're Rob, like, hey, I want to start this podcast,
Yeah.
and then you like talk to people around you, like, well, do you have time, with basketball and with, your job,
People tend to
and then you
talk you
might
out of
doubt,
it.
or
Yeah.
yeah, it's like I didn't need to hear any of that,
Right.
and so I did it, and so that was the hardest part, and um, it's been such a fun journey over the last year, about year and a couple months. And ESPN was amazing and was very supportive and allowed me to do some work for them after I told them that.
Yeah.
But for me, I don't think it was anything changed while I was there. I just got to a point where I had to expedite, and like I had thought about this for years, years and years.
Okay.
And it's like you need to, you know, what is the quote? To do something you've never to do something you've never done, you have to do. I don't
In
remember
order
what
to
the
do
quote
things
is.
that you've never done, you have to go places you've never been.
Exactly. There.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rob. That's why I got you here.
Yeah.
You got to go places you've never been. You got to rock the boat.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, in some capacity, you got to transition is good. It's scary, but for me, this is the transition I wanted and the life that I wanted, and um, I'm just very thankful and appreciative for all my experience at ESPN, and this has been the perfect, not perfect, nothing's perfect in life, but for me, it's been what I've wanted,
It's just right.
and it's been, yeah, it's just right.
Yeah.